change is about to destroy our way of life on planet Earth. Now, there's all these alarmists out there who get a free run, particularly on the ABC in Fairfax, and it's just like a sport, get as many on as you possibly can. And we've had people on this show, for example, at night, who believe that man-made global warming is going to lead to a catastrophe. But we also welcome the other view, the opposing view, that perhaps that's not the case. And there are lots of learned people, we've had them on this show too, and they're scientists, who scoff at the idea that man has anything to do with the way that the planet's climate is changing. And most people concede that it is changing. But I noticed Simon tweeting tonight something in relation to the George Negus show on Channel 10, and we thought we'd get him on the line and ask him what happened. He's there right now. G'day, Simon.
Hi, Luke. How are you?
Really well, mate. Good to talk to you again. Tell us what happened to you.
Oh, look, I was asked to do a little piece to camera about the Queensland floods again, actually.
Right.
So I trotted off to the 10 studios in Sydney and was asked a number of pre-arranged questions, which is fine.
Did they flag these? Sorry, mate. Did they flag these questions to you?
Yes, they did. It was kind of a journalist just asking me the question.
Okay.
I would just answer.
Right. Gotcha.
It wasn't a confrontational style of interview. It was about 10 minutes of material, I guess, that was recorded. There were some substantive points, some relevant points to the floods. If you remember, Bob Brown had just tried to pin the floods on the mining industry that last week, I think.
Yes, that's right.
And so that was topical at the time. So I made some points about that, and I also made some points about the history, like we discussed a week or so ago about the history, the fact that people can't really understand timescales and geological time.
You make a very good point about us all thinking that history is what's happening now.
Yes, I think that's a human nature to think that what's happening now is kind of the most important time in history, which it clearly isn't.
Yeah.
And I think records of floods only go back 150 years or so, and these floods have been happening for thousands of years.
Yeah. So what happened? You answered all these questions. So I'm imagining you've either starred in the report or Negus has given you a hard time. What actually happened?
Yeah. Which do you think?
I reckon they didn't like to hear what you had to say, so they probably closed it down.
Yeah, you're exactly right there. I think I had about 8 seconds.
Eight seconds of 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't quite 10 minutes. I think the actual report on the show tonight was 3.5 or.
Yeah, but you offered them 10 minutes of your time, didn't you?
Yeah, it was about between 8 minutes of material, 6, 7, 8 minutes of material.
And what was the conclusion of the report?
It was heavily weighted towards the alarmist consensus.
What a surprise! What a surprise!
Yeah. Look, it's endemic in the media, Luke. I don't know if you've been following the Daily Mail in the UK has been running excerpts of a book by a newsreader, Peter Sissons, who used to be a BBC newsreader.
Right.
And today's excerpt is all about climate change.
Right.
And he basically says that the BBC is simply a propaganda machine for climate change zealots. As a policy, an editorial policy to exclude anyone who doesn't agree with the consensus, and basically to plug the consensus line. And that's the battle we face to get the balance across.
Wow. Gee, that is so lame. I just can't believe that we know, you and I both know they do it, and they've been doing it for ages. Places like the ABC in Fairfax, and now it seems George Negus' show on Channel 10. I don't know what they're afraid of. Maybe they got mates getting scientific grants. I'm not sure what it is. But one thing is for sure, if people visit the Australian Climate Madness blog, they'll get a fair representation of another side. If they listen to us, they will too.
Yeah, well, that's the important thing. I don't understand why people can't make up the mind for themselves. I think that's the most important thing. There's this information out there. People are entitled to read it and form a view of their own. Absolutely.
Mate, just inform our listeners before you go how they get to find out about what you contain in your blog, what you have in your blog.
If you just go to Google and search for Australian Climate Madness,
There you go.
And the top hits will be my blog, and you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook as well.
Very good. Thanks, mate. Good to talk to you. Appreciate you being available for us.
Thanks a lot, Luke. See you.